Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, honoring Ukrainian lives. Northwestern for Ukraine hosted a vigil to remember lives lost.
If we want to get stuff done, we need to be disruptive.
Plus, 27 years after a historic hunger strike, an alum remembers their act of resistance that created today's Asian American Studies program.
What's up, guys? It's Jay Towns.
And Northwestern YouTubers keeping academics and passions in focus through content creation.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now.
The more we see, we become a little desensitized, unfortunately.
Hello and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Gabrielle Coriati.
And I'm Mela Khalkia. Northwestern for Ukraine held a candlelit vigil last Thursday in honor of Ukrainians lost to the Russian invasion. NN's Hannah Jiang talked to community members affected by the war.
Names of perished Ukrainians read one after another, followed by moments of silence. At the Alice Millar Chapel, Evanston and Northwestern community members pray for lives lost.
Son, my darling, it's March 13th today, and we are still alive.
Irina Patrick, a vigil organizer, read text messages sent from a Ukrainian mother in Mariupol to her son.
It's so revealing of how much she loves her son.
The day before the vigil, Patrick reunited with her own mother who went to Ukraine to take care of Patrick's grandmother.
I wrote to my daughter, no matter what happened to me, be strong and follow your dreams. I love you very much.
Kutkovska was relatively safe staying close to Lviv in western Ukraine, yet seeing the atrocity with her own eyes as refugees flooded into western Ukraine.
How Russian people who live together in the Soviet Union right now can kill us. What for? What for?
After 6 weeks, Kutkovska had to come back to the U.S. for work, but her mother refused to leave Ukraine.
She said, "This is my land."
Kutkovska took a video of her mother who kept saying, "For Ukraine, for people, for liberty."
This candlelight service was beautiful, so grateful that I got to be here, take part in it.
The vigil organizer, Northwestern for Ukraine, has raised more than $15,800, but they're not stopping.
Although things are looking slightly better, there is still a war on Ukrainian soil, and the issue has not gone away.
Prayer and love, remembering the bravery that lit up the night. Hannah Jiang, Northwestern News Network.
Thank you, Hannah. Northwestern for Ukraine shared with NNN a website called Stand With Ukraine as a resource for donations. We've put that as a link on the screen as a QR code.
27 years ago
followed
today,
by
on
moments
April
of
12th,
silence.
1995, a group of Northwestern students started a hunger strike for an Asian American Studies program. David Kahn, one of those strikers, visited campus and offered a first-hand account. NNN's Jenny He has more on Kahn's story and the program today.
I think it's appropriate that we're on a dreary, foggy day because that's how the whole thing started on April 12, 1995.
That day, 17 student activists began a hunger strike after months of unsuccessful negotiations with the university demanding Northwestern establish an Asian American Studies program.
If we want to get stuff done, we need to be disruptive. We can't be polite.
NU alum and hunger striker David Kahn offered a first-hand recollection to students last Tuesday at The Rock and showed where the old Asian American Advisory Board, or AAAB, office was in Norris. Members of AAAB, now known as the Asian Pacific American Coalition, led the strike. Kahn, too, was on AAAB.
I have nothing but pride for the things that we did.
Kahn didn't eat for 3 days. Charles Chun participated the longest, for 12 days.
I'm really tired now, and I'm very, very hungry.
With midterms approaching, many strikers couldn't continue. Many more wore yellow ribbons in support and participated in one-day hunger strikes.
Boy, it was sure tough to focus in class. We still had to be students. We still had to study.
But their legacy carries on. In 1999, Northwestern founded its Asian American Studies program under Ji Yun Ye, the program's first faculty member. She was welcomed by an excited student body, but an administration hesitant to devote resources.
They were working under structural constraints that included racist constraints that underestimate the value of Asian American studies and the value of ethnic studies.
She credits colleagues in other departments for their aid in establishing today's program, though much work remains.
How long after your arrival would you say the program kind of found its place and everything was kind of settled down and the program was functioning?
So I don't even feel like we're at that place now.
Jenny He, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Jenny. According to Northwestern's Asian Archives, other student groups, including the Associated Student Government and 4 members only, also supported the hunger strikers. Both Khan and Ye emphasized the legacy of student activism and cultural unity.
Turning now to COVID-19 here on campus. Last week, Northwestern saw 157 new positives. That number is 3 less than last week. That brings the positivity rate to 3.21%, an almost 90% increase from last week's rate. It's worth noting that testing was not required last week, and there were nearly 4,500 less tests. Also last week, senior university leaders met at a forum in Chicago to answer questions. Vice President for Operations Luke Figura said Northwestern's mitigation policies will evolve as conditions change.
As the CDC moves, or as the local public health departments move, we tend to follow that. And sometimes we'll be slightly more conservative or slightly more aggressive depending on what the topic might be, but we try to stay generally aligned with that the whole time, and I think we'll continue to do that as we navigate kind of what comes next.
Figura says masks and tests will continue to be available to community members at no cost to them.
Ramadan, the holiest month of the year for Muslims, began last week. I attended the Muslim Cultural Students Association Community Iftar on Saturday to see how Northwestern's Muslim students are finding community here on campus. Ramadan is a time most known to non-Muslims for their daily fast, but for Muslims,
Ramadan is a month of gratitude, sacrifice, and community as a whole, right? But also like self-finding.
A month with different meanings for different people.
It's very spiritual, like everyone is kind of on their own like religious cleanse, religious growth.
But for all, an important time to be with community.
Ramadan is like one of those times where people will find themselves coming to things even if they haven't really before. So I really love that MCSA like provides that time and opportunity.
Northwestern's Muslim Cultural Students Association hosting community iftars, or the post-sunset meal that breaks their fast, and communal prayers.
We do have like communal prayers that are built into our week. For example, like Jumu'ah is the Friday prayer, but we also have during Ramadan like more community prayers that are just kind of like thrown together. Right?
And for some without large Muslim communities back home,
it felt very much like we were just celebrating on our own. But here it feels like all my friends are fasting. We have these big iftars that we do like almost once a week, so it feels like we're all coming together at a community.
And on days when the MCSA doesn't organize community iftars, Foster Walker Complex East is open strictly for Muslim students breaking their fast throughout Ramadan from 7 to 10 p.m.
A lot of Muslims will actually pray after they eat or before they eat, and so it's nice to have like a space where we can just like push the tables aside and allow us to put the prayer mats down.
All the students I spoke to wanted to emphasize that MCSA events are open to all, regardless of religious or cultural affiliation.
With Passover just around the corner, Northwestern Hillel is inviting students to join their festivities in person for the first time in 3 years. Passover is a time of celebration and remembrance for the Jewish community, in which the story of the Israelis' freedom from slavery is often told through a Seder, a feast taking place on the first 2 nights of Passover. Students can attend Seders at the Hillel on Friday and Saturday night, as well as other special programming later in the week, like matzah pizza and a showing of the movie The Prince of Egypt.
Passover just becomes this incredible time of the year when there's so many opportunities for students, whether they feel deeply engaged with their Judaism or just like kind of Jewish, to find an opportunity to connect in a way that's meaningful for them.
Kosher dining will be closed during Passover, and the Hillel will be the only kosher dining option on campus.
Head into downtown Evanston and support local businesses this week as part of Northwestern's Associated Student Government's Restaurant Week initiative. Now through April 15th, students can enjoy discounts and offers from restaurants including 10Q Chicken, Cinnaholic, Ovo Frito, and more just by showing their wild card. ASG's Community Relations Committee, which dissolved in 2020 and reformed this year, organized the event. The committee aims to build ties between Evanston and Northwestern, and according to committee chair Michael Torres, the committee is
one of the main features of the committee is not just impacting students, but also impacting the city itself. So we're having regular trips to the mutual aid community fridges that are around Evanston. We're just trying to do what we can to support the city that we take so much space in and we sort of take from a lot.
ASG is also hosting a raffle for students who post pictures of their eats on Instagram. For a full list of participating restaurants and raffle details, check ASG's Instagram page at Northwestern ASG.
Northwestern students will head to the polls this week.
The Associated Student Government presidential election will be held online starting at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Polls will stay open until Sunday at 7 p.m.
Jason Hagelmeyer and Donovan Cusick are up against David Groh and Camelia Vicens.
You can watch the two tickets face off on the NNN Daily Northwestern debate right here on this network at 7:45 p.m. Coming up, the District 65 School Board goes to the drawing board, reevaluating district lines and planning a new school.
And Evanston students take a twirl in dreamy dresses at Dreams Delivered. More on the event after the break. NNN returns in 60 seconds.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Resuming moments like these starts with protecting our kids against COVID-19 and dangerous new variants. Get the latest facts by visiting getvaccineanswers.org and speaking to your pediatrician or healthcare provider.
What a disaster!
You're a disaster.
This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
Natural Habitat Evanston is offering free Illinois native plants to Fifth Ward residents, nonprofits, and places of worship. The program is meant to make environmentally conscious landscaping accessible to all Evanston residents. This means purposefully planting species that complement Evanston's pre-existing ecology. Leslie Schad, founder of Natural Habitat, hopes the initiative will help locally combat climate change and provide habitats for native birds, bugs, and butterflies.
I really feel like we have an obligation to step up and reverse this.
If eligible, email Natural Habitat at naturalhabitatevanston.org. The planting will take place early this summer. Ellie Skelly will have more on this story next week.
Students living in Evanston's Fifth Ward have not had access to a community school for over 50 years since Foster School closed amid desegregation efforts. NNN's Julia Richardson has more on a plan approved to change that.
The District 65 School Board unanimously approving a plan last month to redraw district lines. ensuring that all elementary students live walking distance from their neighborhood schools.
We've delayed this process for far too long.
The plan also includes a new K-8 school in the 5th Ward, a goal community members have been advocating for decades.
For it to really be at the brink of happening is very exciting.
After losing their neighborhood school in 1967 as a part of integration, students in the 5th Ward are still feeling the effects. Oftentimes, kids living on the same street may attend different schools.
That had an effect because I had friends who I didn't go to school with, so we only got to play for a few hours. And the same rings true for my kids now.
As a result, 5th Ward kids are less connected to their communities.
It is critically important that people who live together go to school together.
City Council and school board members say they hope the new school will help foster the connection that the 5th Ward lacks, and that community members are involved every step of the way.
It truly does belong to the community, and it's important that the neighborhood feels that way.
Now, school board members anticipate that they will have a preliminary design for the school by the end of this calendar year, and construction on the building, which will be located at Foster Field, could begin as early as May of 2023. In Evanston, Julia Richardson, Northwestern News Network. Finance and innovation classes are underway for Black entrepreneurs ages 18 to 30 at Evanston's Youth Job Center. And Lily Wolfson spoke to a loctician, a hair professional specializing in dreadlocks, hoping to start her own business through the program.
30-year-old Elizabeth Granberry is passionate about making others feel beautiful.
I just love being able to make people feel good with their natural hair.
Now, through the Youth Job Center, the licensed cosmetologist is gaining the tools she needs to start her own line of hair care products.
I would be able to find the resources and the networks to make my goals come true.
The program is a racial equity initiative in partnership with Oakton Community College and Northwestern.
I'm excited to put this in front of our youth so that they can understand that entrepreneurship is possible for them.
With funding from Northwestern, the Youth Job Center is teaching participants in the program about financial literacy and how to sustain their companies and businesses after the program ends.
By the end of this whole thing, we'll have youth with new startup businesses. They'll have some solid connections in the community.
Granberry says she's inspired by the program to work toward her goals.
It makes me finally feel like I have a true purpose.
She believes this program uplifts an underrepresented demographic in the small business sector.
A lot of African American youth, we're very talented. We just don't know what to do with what we might even see as like a hobby or just something we're good at. We can turn that into like a career.
And Lily joins us now in the studio. Lily, how did the Youth Job Center recruit entrepreneurs for these programs?
Project manager Julia Woodson posted flyers advertising the program in local nail salons, barber shops, and restaurants. She also asked the Youth Job Center's partners, like Northwestern, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Lily. Staying in Evanston as local high schoolers prepare for their senior prom in May. The Women's Club of Evanston wants to make sure that all girls have the perfect prom dress to make them feel special. I took a look at the 3-day event that ends today.
High school senior London Lavalias has been dreaming of going to prom for the whole school year.
I'm just really excited.
But finding a perfect and affordable dress can be hard. Dreams Delivered makes sure that all girls find something that makes them feel beautiful.
These are all amazing dresses, all of them that I tried on. They're so beautiful. I'm just thankful that I had this opportunity again to do this.
Dreams Delivered makes prom dreams come true by giving free prom dresses, shoes, accessories, and makeup tips to high school seniors.
To see the students come out with this big, huge smile on their face is amazing.
The project, run by the Women's Club of Evanston, has collected donations of more than 1,000 dresses in all sizes and has welcomed more than 100 students this year.
I love it. They're very helpful and the dresses are beautiful.
During the 3-day event, students and their parents make appointments and are assigned a personal shopper to help them find their dream prom outfit.
Dreams Delivered is also important for families who might not be able to afford the prom expenses.
There's so many expenses, and going to the prom is a special one.
The event is open to all, no matter the background, to make every prom dream come true.
It's about the feeling you leave when you leave. That's the beauty and the magic of Dreams Delivered.
Just an incredible program. We hope you all have a great night.
Absolutely. Max, what do you have coming up over in the Weather Center?
Coming up after the break, thunderstorms, sunshine, and snow. It's all coming up in the next 7 days, and I'll walk you through the forecast.
Women in sports media tell us about their journey to get up to that press box coming up after the break.
Western, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Northwestern's Theme Park Engineering Design Club, or TPED, competed at the Iowa State University Theme Park Ride Engineering Competition this past weekend. The goal of the competition, to build a working model of a theme park ride that had to be themed, run non-stop for 8 hours, and follow professional guidelines.
Really giving all of us engineering students the opportunity to design from scratch a ride from our own imagination and bring it to life, while considering all the different mechanical components.
NU's ride Monsoon Mayhem left riders stranded on a life raft in the Indian Ocean, searching for a way to get to shore.
Being a woman in sports, it's kind of about just like banding together with your fellow women in sports.
The sports department of campus radio station WNUR making a significant moment this week. NN's Andrew Rowan spoke with sports journalists about the landscape on campus.
On the mound, the first pitch is in and called for a strike.
This is the first female duo in recent memory to call a Northwestern baseball game on WNUR.
Kingston will slide in, so a sacrifice fly.
50% of the radio station's sports executive board are women. 2 years ago, there were none. And in newsrooms nationally, women make up only 14% of sports reporters.
I'm sitting here as sports director right now, but if you would have told me that about a year ago, I would have laughed in your face.
Today's community of women in sports media say they wouldn't be where they are today, up there in that press box, without the women who came before them.
Even seeing one woman on that screen was like, okay, I feel like I could do this.
For Bria Losick,
I think these girls really have a chance to get into their groove today.
That woman was Margaret Fleming.
I didn't think about the impacts of like me being there would cause people who were into sports broadcasting to actually join, so that's just really an honor.
Seeing that executive board post full of women,
I don't even know, like it makes me like emotional to think about it.
It takes that one person to take that step and allows a lot of other people to follow in their footsteps.
Leah Asimakopoulos and Claire Kawana have also taken that first step. They're co-presidents of Northwestern's chapter of American Women in Sports Media. The group hosts guest speakers, holds development events like offering free headshots, and fosters a sense of camaraderie.
Having that community, whether it just is to vent or look for advice, is really important.
And despite the progress, they're pushing for more women to take leadership roles in campus publications.
Having people like front-facing, that are not like your stereotypical white male in sports, is the biggest thing that we can do.
And beyond the sports, it's a community
to meet amazing women that you might not meet otherwise.
Covering teams as a team. Andrew Rowan, Northwestern News Network.
It's the third week of spring quarter, and that means it should feel like spring, right? NNN's Max Rothfeder is here to give us a look at the weather. Max?
Hi, Gabrielle. You know, since I got to Northwestern, people have been telling me to wait until spring quarter for Northwestern to become a beach school. And unless 35-degree water is your definition of a beach, I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer. Let's take a look live right now from our In studios outside. You can see the nice weather outside, partly cloudy with temperatures in the high 50s. We're on the air a little earlier than normal tonight, so you can still see the sun shining in the sky. A nice evening to go out for a walk or sit on the Lakeville. But don't get too excited about these warmer temperatures, because we've got rain in the forecast tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms are predicted in the morning, with another half-inch of rain predicted Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So make sure to be safe while walking to class. The National Weather Service has posted this warning about possible tornadoes that are in southern Illinois that could end up pushing into the Chicago area. There's also a high wind predicted later this week. Take a look at this. We've got winds 17 miles per hour Wednesday, 25 miles per hour Thursday coming out of the southwest. And as we push later into the week, temperatures are going to fall back into the 40s with 30s in the overnight hours. Winds are going to calm down into the low teens, but start coming out of the north. Monday's got a special surprise in store for us: snow in April. Supposedly that's normal for the Chicago area, as the National Weather Service says that the average day for last snowfall is April 14th, with the latest in history happening on May 11th. I have absolutely loved the snow this year, but for this Texan who had never been in snow before January, the idea of snow is pure insanity. Look, I love the snow, but Gabrielle, what are your thoughts on April snow?
Thanks, Max. I know I'm definitely looking forward to the warm temperatures.
All right, back to you, Melina.
Coming up, how Northwestern's very own student YouTubers balance studying with vlogging.
At Northwestern, we're wildcats in every way.
Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
What's up, guys? It's Jay Towns.
As admitted students make their college decisions this month, they may be browsing YouTube channels to learn what life is like on campus.
NN's Logan Schijano caught up with some of NU's online personalities to learn more about what life is like behind the camera.
What's up, guys? It's Jay Towns. Let's get into it.
Walking around campus with a camera seems kind of awkward. For Jay Towns, it's a way of giving back.
It's like community building.
You might say he's a man of the people.
I kind of would just read comments and would just try to do whatever videos people were asking me to do.
Dorm tours, I'm busy making a move. Music videos, and day in the life vlogs have all helped Towns gain over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. But it's not the likes or clicks that make him happy.
I think what's cool about my channel, which is not necessarily unique other than the fact that it's mine, is that it's just It kind of follows me and my life and what I'm interested in and what I want to talk about.
Though Towns is graduating in June, there are plenty of NU YouTubers to fill his shoes. For freshman Richard Yan, he started his gaming channel back in 6th grade, and he's still making videos, but he's also had to attend to some other business.
Unfortunately, college is really busy.
It's a similar story for sophomore Yanni Economos.
From 2022, I got a lot more busy and a lot of things started happening, so I've been kind of like scattered around with how many videos I've been making.
Balancing life and YouTube.
I think it's important to remember that when you're holding a camera, you're not actually living in the moment. It's impossible.
These students try to keep everything in focus.
I still love making videos because I like that idea of just being able to help others and give back specifically.
Northwestern YouTubers on their own paths, all with one common message.
If you feel like you want to make something, then feel empowered that your own perspective and like your experience is worth documenting, and somebody's going to look at that and be like, oh, I'm so glad somebody made that.
Logan Schijano, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Logan. I know when I was getting admitted, I definitely watched some of J-Town's videos to sort of figure out where I wanted to be living on campus.
Oh yeah, me too. That was definitely really helpful to get a feel of what it was like to be at Northwestern for sure. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
Stay tuned for Politica and the Northwestern ASG debate right here at 7:45. I'm Gabrielle Coriati.
And I'm Ela Halka. Have a good night.